Shalom, today I'll be talking on the intent of the laws. The law or Torah in Hebrew's tongue are instructions from God about relations to Him and to other people. The law was given because of the Israelites' ignorance of God. God gave them the law because He wanted to teach them how to relate with Him and with one another. The first laws were given by God through Moses. It is known as the 10 Commandments or the Torah. These were split into 3 sections. We have the ceremonial laws, the moral laws, and the civil laws. These laws are guidelines that mirrored us into what God truly demands from us. God gave the laws and the civilization of the judicial system through some of their laws from it. Most especially the moral and the civil laws. Most of the laws binding nations today were crafted out from some of the laws given to Moses. The ceremonial laws are centered on God and how God wants us to serve Him. The moral laws teach us how to respect, honor, and value one another. The civil law teaches us how to relate with one another. It teaches us about equity and well-being. The first 1 to 4 commandments has to do with the ceremonial law. The 5th commandment talks about the moral law. The 6th to 10th commandments talks about the civil laws. Exodus chapter 20, verse 30 to 17. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a carved image, any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth below, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, to the 3rd and 4th generations of those who hate me, but showing mercy to thousands, to those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who take his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall do no work, you nor your son, nor your daughters, nor your male servants, nor your female servants, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in the 6th day the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested in the 7th day. Therefore the Lord blessed the 7th day and hallowed it. Let me outline the commandments to your understanding. 1. Don't have another God except me. 2. Don't make any image to serve as your God. 3. Don't take the name of God in vain. Meaning, don't make a mockery of the name of God. You know the name of God, right? The name of God is Yeshua. In His English translation, it's known as Jesus. You can listen to that in my previous teaching titled Is Jesus God? 4. Remember the Sabbath day. I spoke on what God wants from you as regards the Sabbath in my previous teachings. These first 4 laws are regarded as ceremonial laws. It teaches you how God wants you to serve Him. These 4 laws are directed to God only. These are services you should give to God. They are related to God only. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be prolonged upon the land which the Lord your God is giving you. These days with the moral, honor, respect, values, esteem, humility, and so on came from this law. It is not only assigned to your biological parents, it is respect for one another. God gave it as a guideline for what He wants us to do as relating to one another. This law helps us to build love and peaceful environments when relating with one another. It's all about respect for one another, not just your biological parents only. Respect for elders, respect for leaders, respect for one another, They are all centered on these laws. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. None is male servant, none is female servant, none is horse, none is donkey, none anything that is your neighbor's. The sixth commandment deals with the civil laws. It teaches about integrity, honesty, truthfulness, selflessness, unselfishness, and so on came from these laws. This law teaches us not to live an immoral life, not to be selfish, greedy, and wicked. This law teaches us how to show love to one another and how to be contented with what we have. This law teaches us not to envy others, not to take what belongs to others due to our selfish and greedy nature and makes it ours. This law teaches us not to demonstrate any acts of wickedness towards others. This law teaches us that every man is entitled to his property. Therefore, don't take what belongs to another man and make it yours. This law teaches us not to go after married women and not to desire to have another man's wife. And God in this law also points us to murder. What God means as regards murder is to forcefully kill someone without a cause. In the case of robbery, or someone who is trying to kill you, it is different. Self-defense is important. God is not against that. You can defend yourself against someone who wants to claim your life. God is not against that. That is not what the law means. Exodus chapter 22, verse 2 to 4. If the thief is found breaking him, and he is struck, so that he dies, there shall be no guilt for his bloodshed. If the sun has risen on him, there shall be a guilt for his bloodshed. He should make full restitution. If he has nothing, then he shall be sold for his thief. If the thief is certainly found alive in his hand, whether it's an horse, or donkey, or sheep, he shall restore double. God makes it clear again that self-defense is not a sin before him, most especially when it comes to someone who wants to claim your life. You can retaliate and fight back. God will not hold that against you. Here is wisdom. If he or she does not mean to harm you or appear harmless, tender mercy and hand him or her to the authority. I mean the police. When he or she is armed with an intention to take your life, you can apply the law. Above all, live by the law of your community. Live by the law of your nation. And do as the laws demand. God's judgment is in agreement with some of the laws binding us today. If you know God personally, and you are always spiritual, you will see each day before it happens. Back home, I encountered some robbers who broke through my house during the night hours. Before then, God had already showed me the same countless times in a vision. Then I took a retreat to be alone with God, to ask God further what this vision He keeps showing me is all about. And God showed me everything, how it will happen, the names of those who will carry out the robbery, and when it will happen. That God showed me everything. I was sitting on my bed the night of the day, waiting for the robbers. Then saw that the robbers broke through. I quietly came out and called him by his name, just as God showed me his persons and their names. I came out. I called him by his name. For fear and surprise on how I knew his name, he ran for his life. After some days, when I was through with my retreat with God, I handed them over to police. Their parents came to plead on their behalf. I could remember one of their parents who came to plead on their behalf. When she saw me, she said, "You are the wisdom everyone will be talking about. I know you. You are a very calm and quiet person." After which I tendered mercy and closed up the case. Light and darkness do not meet. They are in the dark. I'm in the light. I do not tell you this story to prove that I'm a Superman. It's just a way of telling you that God can protect you, both spiritually and physically, if you know Him deeply. It's a way of telling you that if you know God deeply, you can see each day before they happened. There are all lots of laws given by God to guide human relations with Him and one another. God gave us the laws to make us moral agents. God did not give us the law to be a burden to us. Can you see how good Christianity is? It teaches us morals and well-being than other religions from around the world. Christianity teaches love, forgiveness, humility. Christianity is the most balanced religion from around the world. Someone sent me a message that I should join Muslim. Brother, thank you for your advice. I did not become a Christian because of history or what the Bible talks about one Yeshua. I did not become a Christian because someone asked or advised me to be. I became a Christian because I told the Supreme God to show me who He is. Or else, if I meet Him at the end of my journey, I will argue with Him for following the wrong path. And Yeshua showed up as God and said, I will protect you and be with you to the end. I know Jesus beyond the writings of the Bible. I know Him beyond the flips of this book. I have read this book over the years again and again and again, and I'm still reading it. I have carried this book along my journey through life. You can see me carrying this in Bible. In my old picture, then I was 15 years old. Dear viewers, you can have that same relationship with Him. At the end of my journey, when I get to the other world, I will walk to Yeshua. If He failed in His promises, I will enter an argument with Him because I know Him in person. If He did as spoken, I'll remain in my rest. Each time I talk about Yeshua, I'm not talking out of stories I read or I heard. I'm talking about reality. I'm talking about my personal encounter with Him. I know Him one-on-one in person. Not just the writings of this book, the Bible. Not just a story that was documented, not as a God who belongs to the Israelites. I know Him one-on-one because He came and told me that He is the supreme God. When I talk about Jesus, I'm talking about a reality of His experience in my life. A reality of His experience in my life, both physically and spiritually. At the end of my journey, after my other life, when I walk to heaven, I know the God I'm going to meet. I know the God I will stand before. I know the God I will meet in the other world. The conviction of Yeshua is reality to me in my daily life. Is what kept me constant in following Him in my daily life and in all my journey through life. If He is not real, I would have left Him a long time ago. But I know Him is real. I know Him as close as the very shirt that I'm putting on. I know Him in person. He can never fail me. I'm proud of Him, and I can boast of Him anyway. Join me in my next teaching as I talk about doctrines and the law.